Hello, I'm Aaron Cox,
I am Erica Maldonado.
and we are representing the ASBC Lewis. I'm representing the adult side for the Lewis complex.
And I represent the minor side.
This is our video reflection activity, Task C, for our summary on how we're maintaining our levels 1 through 3 for HRS. Um, so at Lewis, we've been maintaining our level 1, the safe, supportive, and collaborative culture through continued support in the following ways. On the staff side, trying to make sure that staff feel supported and are put in a position of success in their classrooms. We have regular one-on-one meetings to start each quarter, each school year. So in those meetings, we can kind of discuss areas of concern, areas that we want to kind of see us progress, and also areas that we feel like we're successful in. And this allows opportunities for supervisors to provide us with any type of support we need within the classroom. So it could be tangible resources, it could be some instructional strategies, um, any type of area that we feel like we're lacking. That gives us the opportunity to meet with our leadership and find ways to improve. We also have what's called a huddle board. We meet 3 times a week because we work so spread out. We're all in different yards and don't really see each other very often. These meetings give us a chance to all come together and maybe discuss what things have gone well or things that we need help with. So this is where we celebrate our weekly successes, things like students passing a TABE test or progressing through their GED. But it's also where we can kind of put on a proper register of things we need help with. Usually things like the AC's not working or need help with like a door locking or something along those lines. But it allows us to get support from the staff and leadership around us. On the student side, working in a prison setting, want to make sure that we're really establishing some behavior norms and being able to keep accountability of how students are behaving in our classrooms. So on that end, it's a lot of paperwork stuff that we have support with. We have IRs and tickets, which are disciplinary reports that we can put up so that our correctional staff can help out with some of the behavior issues. So really put an emphasis on setting the standard for what we expect from the behavior and then using that disciplinary support to maintain the appropriate behavior. But we don't just want to focus on the negative. We don't want to always be trying to be punitive in our leadership. So we also have ways to recognize and celebrate our students. Every classroom we have a success wall where if a student passes one of the TABE requirements or one of the GED requirements, we can do a little celebration for them with a certificate in the classroom, and then that certificate can go on our success wall so we can celebrate how we've all come together and use our collaboration to work towards goals.
In the minor side, although we follow very similar systems and procedures, there are some differences. Um, we are trying to bridge the gap between the relationships of our COs and our education staff, and we do that by incorporating them into luncheons, celebrating birthdays, and things of that nature. When it comes to students, we like to also recognize them, and once they passed all 3 TABE state exams, they receive a pizza party. We also have graduations for students that acquire their high school diploma, their GED, and now we recently just started college classes. So there are several ways that we recognize them. We also have the achievement wall and things of that nature. Besides those systems and those rewards that we have for students, we also have a daily point system. And in this daily point system, students have to acquire at least a 4.5 out of a possible 5 in order to make it and be part of an incentive. Once a month, they have half a day of school, and the other half we'll play them a movie that's appropriate, and they will receive popcorn. And it's kind of like our way of telling them we see you, we hear you, and we appreciate everything that you've done this month.
All right. So for level 2, effective teaching in every classroom, we've maintained a lot of a lot of stuff we established through level 2 with our certification, and then some of the stuff we had to review while we were going through our level 3. But a lot of the big emphasis for us, again, being so spread apart, want to make sure that all the teachers kind of are on the same page with how we run our classes. It's harder for a supervisor here to do walks through a classroom than it is in a high school where you can just go down the hallway and see all your teachers. But so we have folders where we keep our daily lesson plans. These are very in depth of what materials are going to be used, kind of how we're going to move through meeting our priority objectives and all that. And we all have one folder where they all go into, all use the same template, so it's easy to get to. Everyone knows what each other is doing. And this also becomes important if anybody has to cover. When you're coming in, you have the lesson plan available for you, so if we're stepping in, we can pick up right up where that other teacher left off. And that's all going to be part of the review for things like our Gembas, where supervisors are going to come through and see what areas that need improvement. And that's mostly focused on how we have like our classroom laid out, how TAs are working, how we're delivering our instruction, what type of materials we're using. And all this is going to be reviewed during our PLC. That's kind of our go-to, right? Our PLC is where we're going to collaborate and find out where we're lacking and where we're succeeding. And then our one-on-one meetings are going to be there as well. Informal and formal observations all go into improving our curriculum design and instruction delivery. We use AIPs for the students, so we can kind of see that our instruction is working, that students are actually gaining and retaining the knowledge they need to work through each objective. We have student surveys where we can kind of do the same thing, proficiency scales, and then most importantly, all of our testing data. We have, I think it's called a DRC report for our TABE testing. So every time someone takes a TABE test, it'll give us a detailed report on areas they were either non-proficient, partially proficient, or fully proficient in. It'll kind of create academic plan for areas that need focus. And we can kind of create the next step for any test they took that they didn't reach that 8th grade proficiency level. We have the same thing in GED. We have Aztec and Essential Education currently for GED and TABE. And as they work through that, it's going to kind of create that learning plan for them based off of self-assessments and things like pre-test, practice tests, so on and so forth. So very heavy on data, and again, that's really important for us kind of working on an island, just being in our own little yard where we can use that data, compare with data from other teachers on other yards, and kind of see what's working, what's not. And again, that's all stuff that comes back up in our PLC. So that's most of the stuff that we do on the adult side.
So in the minors, we have an extra advantage. Although we do everything that they do as well, our extra advantage is that all of us are all in one yard. So we have accessibility to each other several times during the day. So we usually have conversations before classes, we usually have conversations during lunchtime, and even after classes. So if teachers are struggling with a student, whether it's academically or behaviorally, there's always another person there to kind of give them like feedback, protocol systems that are working for them, and things of that nature. We also have access to each other's lesson plans, grade books, and things of that nature to see how every student is doing in every class. And so far it's working very well.
And one of the things, I was on the minor side for a little bit, one of the things I liked is that you have kind of the same group of students that move together. So you get to really know the students, and all the teachers have the conversations about them. So you kind of know which areas they need help in, not only for that particular class, but as they kind of move through high school in general. So that's been a huge plus on this side too. Mm-hmm. And then our level 3 refresher. And level 3, school leaders ensure that a guaranteed and viable curriculum focused on enhancing student learning is in place. So this is where we jumped into a lot of our lesson plan and instruction development this last certification process, and really I think we got pretty good. We did pretty well putting this together last time, and a lot of the stuff has been just kind of second nature for us now. But we do have a curriculum that's provided for us. Again, the Aztec and Essential Education software that they use. The Essential Education has been a big advantage for us because that can actually go on the inmate tablets, which they have access to in their housing units and when they're on the yard and stuff. So they can still access a lot of the stuff that they're working on even when they're not in class. So that provides a little extra advantage that they can continue working through things. And then I've noticed moving over to the adult side, being able to use that they can go home and it's kind of like homework to them now. So they can use that program and then kind of just make note of things they want to ask me when they come to class the next day. So that kind of starts us in the class of, I know what areas they need help with right away, and we can kind of jump into the instruction using that. And then on the high school side, we have a program called Schools PLP, which is kind of a curriculum moving through high school. So it's really well structured so the students can sit on the computer and get through their stuff on their own. But as far as the instruction that we do, not putting them on the computer or the tablet, the teacher being up in front and delivering the small group instruction, We started developing our proficiency scales, which has been a big plus for finding out where students are strong, where they're weak, and kind of helping guide our lesson plan development and our instruction delivery. So we've been very heavy emphasis on the implementation development of proficiency scales. We're also using the same things, we said through the last couple of ones, the grade books, the DRC reports, any type of assessment report that we're getting from the TAPE and the Aztec and Essential Education. We use all that to kind of help develop our curriculum. And then bread and butter, our PLCs. We can come together and use all these things that teachers are finding effective, where we're seeing good results, and putting that together so we can all kind of help each other use the resources available and use that curriculum available to kind of guide our instruction. And then just the last part for that, with our proficiency scales, lesson plans, and our PLCs, we really focused the last year or so on finding like the priority learning objectives. So we kind of want to see what areas are the most important to focus on, which I think is really important in a prison setting because you don't have the full 4 years to work through. You might have a couple of months, you might have a student coming in from another yard or getting transferred out to another. So the more we can kind of focus on the priority objectives and get to the point quicker is really helping with progress towards the goals of passing either a TAPE test or a GED test.
And that's what makes the big difference for the minors. Once you hit the adult yard, adults they can be at that yard from anywhere from a couple of months to a couple of years. But that's not true when it comes to the minors. Minors can have anything from a couple of weeks to a year or two. So we look at it student by student basis to see who can acquire their GED or who needs to be fast tracked for a high school diploma and things of that nature. So we literally look at the data to see which student qualifies for what, because we want to help them in their successful journey.
All right. Well, that concludes our recap of how we've been implementing our level 1, 2, and 3 things that we learned to continue developing as an HRS school. And now we start working towards our certification for level 4. Thank you. Bye.